intro. Give me a good intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going.
You fucking flipped me off. That's his intro.
Let's do this shit, man. I'm here with Andrew. I can never do your surnames. There's too many. It's like about fucking hell. Get that on a triple word score, and I'd be laughing. You wouldn't have to do another one, would you? You know what I mean? Help me with this, man.
Dude, we used to be good enough friends where you just fucking be like, Andrew Szczecinski, now look at you. I don't have that next to you.
I don't know why, right? Because I'm playing it in my head and I'm going, and then I'm getting confused with it, and I'm going, I don't want to mess it up. So then I fail straight away.
Dude, in your defense, man, I've had literally when we were living in Thailand, I've had so many Polish people yell at me for mispronouncing my last name. I'm like, dude, I'm American. I don't know what Polish is. Please help me. It's Szczecinski. And I was like, dude, it's whatever you need it to be, man. Anytime in school, they just be like, Andrew Ski, and I just raise my hand and be like, it's fine. It's fine. I can't have a good. I'm living with a guy right now. He's Manchester, straight from Manchester.
Yeah.
Joseph Smith. Can you get anything more easy? Easy going. Smith. No. What a baller. Exactly. So
the thing is, though, it's your name, so you can say it how you want.
Oh, dude, I should be Andrew Szczecinski. Like a little stutter at the end to make it a little hard for everybody. How are you, brother?
Anyway, whoa, hang on a minute. Andrew Szczecinski, MMA fighter. You can find him on UFC Fight Pass.
And then they'll look at it 5 years ago.
Philosophy student, MMA coach, jiu-jitsu coach, life coach, fitness coach. Anything else?
You know what, bro? I'd love to say like sex coach, but according to my girlfriend, I do not have the credentials.
And super cool guy. One of my best friends in the world. The yin to my yang. I'm Mr. Negative. He's Mr. Positive.
I assure you, man, the pleasure and privilege is all mine. This is incredible.
Honestly, I've never met anyone as positive as you. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be calling myself names when I get things wrong, and you'd be going, "No, it's really good." So when you're coaching me, it's superb. So you just asked about that one idea thing for the podcast while we were off air. So now I don't talk about it anymore because I just want to tell people's stories now. I don't want to be political. I don't want to ask political questions. Mm-hmm. I want people to tell their story, and I want to try and promote positivity. So I think anything where you're asking people to make a choice on something, it just creates division. So I'm trying to go on that one. Now,
hey, let me ease into that right now, man. I'll cut that off at the bud. I was a philosophy major, and my professor had the best thing on the wall of his office, and I just, to this day, it's been almost it's going to be 2 decades now, and I still cling to it. It basically had all these people holding hands, and of the greatest, most influential philosophical prose I'd ever seen, it said, "I stand behind everybody who is not an asshole." And I was like, oh my word, could it ever be said better? And there you go.
Yeah. So for me now, I don't see. I don't know about you. How you do this in today's climate. So without getting into the debate about things, I don't see colour. I don't see creed. I don't see where people are from. I just see, are you a good person or are you a bad person? How's your, I think that's an easier way to go, isn't it? Or the way I'll say it is, are you a cunt or not?
See, exactly. It always goes back to that. Just like, yeah, man, like, for Trump, against Trump, whatever, Brexit, worldwide. Do you like Game of Thrones or do you hate it? Can we talk about this? Is there something that we can enjoy? And to me, that's always been it, though, man. It's like, and all of our and dude, I would love to say my travel as if I've traveled a lot. I've done Europe. I've lived in Asia, Thailand, Japan. Uh-huh. Realize I'm talking to like the man who, I don't know if your viewers know this, but you literally bicycled from my home country, America, Texas, all the way down. You've lived in Thailand. You've lived in China. Bro, I'm talking to the Don Mega of travel, in my opinion. So I'd like to bounce something right back at you. I'd like to bounce it right back at you, seeing as you've talked to so many people on an amazing podcast, which I'm very, very proud to be a part of. But what has been one thing that you've noticed as you like when I've asked you before, like, hey, how's Colombia? How's Peru? You're always just like, people are nice. People are nice. So if you can bring one back thing from your travels, what would that be? Would it be something along those lines of just that everybody has kind people and everybody has dicks once in a while?
That's in Thailand with girls. Everyone has dicks once in a while.
God, I miss Thailand. What am I doing here in Japan? Be hanging out with ladyboys, getting drunk. Oh my word! Got myself a cheeky cocktail. And I don't have a ladyboy around me.
Yeah, I'm on coffee.
Yeah, dude. I apologize.
Cold
Wait,
brew.
with lime and honey.
What did I do? Is I was in Mexico and
Yeah.
it's starting to be a podcast about me now. I was in Mexico and it's the negative press about Mexico. Yeah, I did get spoke to by the Mexican cartel and fair play. They were all right with me, but most people were nice. People were stopping me, offering me drinks and offering me food and things like that. So wherever you go, most people aren't interested in all the things that you see in the news. They're just interested in getting on with their life and getting on with all the people around them. You know what I mean? And it doesn't get portrayed, does it? You know what I mean? And that's, I suppose, what I'd like to do with this podcast is show people who are just leading a life that they want to lead and not a life that they're told to lead. That's why I'm enjoy getting fighters on, enjoy getting someone on like yourself who's doing what they want to do. They're over in Japan, they're trying to do, all that, and just not following the norms. And find that you can do those lives and you can follow your dreams.
Yeah, man, it's called being poor.
Yeah, that as well, but I don't know, what do you class as rich?
Oh, bro, see, that's, like I said, man, I feel like this is going to be kind of cliche, but I really, truly mean this, coming from a family that all of my family are very successful in sales, dealing with alcohol and liquor. So I came from, I basically grew up to be a wino, if that was the case. I tell you now that, and God, salt of the earth people, I love my family so much. They're so very, very dear to me. But I will say that coming from somebody that I'll use my brother as an example, somebody that I very, very much look up to, and I love him very much. He's doing very well for himself, has been doing the same job for about a decade and a half. And he's very well off. And then compared to me, who I'm traveling and the type of coaching that I do, I get enough clients where I can definitely live comfortably, but at the same time, I don't have that financial stability to really nest down. I don't have that that comfort, if you will, to make sure that I have a nest egg, something I can sit on. And yet we both have echoed, I definitely envy him in a very good way and I'm very proud of him, but I envy him in the way of wow, you don't really, you could eat whatever you want, go wherever you want. You really can engage in it. You could give charity, whatever you want, which he does. And then he looks at me and he's just like, dude, what are you talking about? You travel anywhere you want. You're not held by anything. You're not beholden to anybody. And so grass is greener on the other side for sure. I will say, to answer your question and land the plane, wealth to me is this. If I live with purpose in the point of I'm pursuing something that brings me joy and happiness, for me, that's trying to bring love and knowledge and wisdom to people that need it from me. I can't sit here and, wax about how to make a computer, but I know a little something about nutrition. I know a little something about fighting. I know a little something about philosophy, right? If I can give people any sort of lesson that makes them happier, more fulfilled, bring their vitality up, change their life. I feel like the richest. I feel like a king. I feel like I wear a crown that is not heavy by jewels, but by the accomplishments and accolades of others. As in, they did something, but I had the privilege of being in their life, if only for a little bit. And that's wealth, man. To me, that's always been that way. If I have the ability,
it is a lot better way than I put it. You know what I mean? I always talk about, you know, I don't measure my wealth in monetary, you know, financial, you know, it's about what I do and how I am. But I much prefer that about how I can affect other people's lives, especially with what I've been thinking about of late, about the vibrations that you give off, you know what I mean? And when you, like you said about doing that, the one idea and me changing that was a step change for me, where I went from, I'm not going to change everybody, so let's see if I can hopefully be more positive to the people around me, which will then have a ripple effect, if you know, which is what you're saying, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and I mean, I can use you and I as a perfect example. Is that, like, you know, I have had the pleasure of being your friend for, you know, years now, and I will say that as I've known you, you've grown, thank God, you know, because you're human. And the thing that I've noticed the most about you as I've known you is the influence and the influence that you have on others, and more importantly, the enthusiasm and the passion that you pursue, trying to make people better and happier, has certainly enhanced my life. And it's something that I've noticed very predominantly. It's a very large thing that's changed with you, and I couldn't be more proud of you. I mean, this podcast is a gigantic. I mean, who has the balls and the gall, Ross, to just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to start a podcast, see where it goes. I'm just going to do it because I have something I want to talk about. I want to engage, just because maybe it will change the world. I don't know if it changes the world, but it certainly has changed me, and it's changed me for the better. So if you want to know if your podcast was an accomplishment, I'm evidence that it has been. You know what I mean? Gary, Tony.
It amazes me, you know, the people that come on, you know, and the people come on, people give me their time, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm sort of like a big kid at times, you know what I mean? I've got a couple of great guests coming on from the UK, or 3 or 4 great guests coming on from the UK, which I'm really looking forward to. A guy from Germany who's a base jumper and was involved in a lot of really good stuff with base jumping, you know what I mean? I can't wait to speak to them. So I'm like, man, this is amazing. You know what I mean? That I get to speak to these people and just chat with these people. You know, whether anyone watches it or not is the other thing. But I enjoy speaking to people.
Dude, you certainly do a damn good job at it. And I'll tell you this much: I feel that when people are given the opportunity to espouse what they believe in, and to not only name their credentials, as in like, oh, well, I've done this and this, it's not to show their trophies or to show off or to brag. I feel it's more about saying, hey, I've done this, I've been here. And it seems everybody echoes the same sentiment of, I've been able to do this, so can you. I've learned this. You learn this now, so you don't have to learn it the hard way like I did. I feel like my life is me making tons of stupid, idiotic mistakes just to tell people about it and be like, hey, man, I got through it. You can get through it too. And you're definitely a cause for that as well, because if there's anybody I've ever known that has had great stories that just keep me up rolling at night, come on now. Big Russ. You're nothing else to that. So go on, brother. Go on. Take it away now. Give me something.
One that, last night I was not quite in an argument with Instagram, because I tried to pacify any arguments, because I made the statement on Dan Hardy's page, actually, and he was going to reply to Herb Dean. And I said, Dan, don't do it, man. Take the high ground. Don't reply. Leave it there. Yeah. And then other people were having to go at me. And then, and it's my fault. I didn't do my research. I assumed that everyone agreed with Dan Hardy. But the other people goes, dude, have a look on social media and everything. No one's agreeing with him. Everyone's on Herb Dean's side. You know what I mean? Or did you watch the fights?
You know what, dude? I saw Till and Whitaker fight, and then one other that escapes me. I did not see the whole Dan Hardy, the whole issue. Didn't see that.
Yeah, so we can't really discuss on it, but you know, it's like the guy's like, "Oh, this arm's stiff." Yeah. I'm totally out of it. And he's been dropped, and the guy stands over him, and he doesn't move for about 3 seconds. He stood over him, and you know, people are defending Herb Dean on it. You know, so I don't know what's your thing on. Well, we'll talk about MMA for a bit, because that's
go ahead.
Podcast. What's your thing on ideas for reffing and judging, really?
Wow, reffing and judging. Okay, so like first and foremost, when it comes to reffing in this situation, especially for early stoppage, I wouldn't. I understand, and this is just coming from experience of being obviously in the cage. I understand how a lot of people can see, hey, the fight's over when the ref pulls you off. You keep going until the ref pulls you off because the fight could the fight could continue. There's people that can, have recovered. God knows how many times I've seen Tony Ferguson recover. It's Cowboys throw Mike Bisping, recover when they get dropped. So I understand that completely. If there's anything I could take away from this or anything I can point out that I'm very happy to see is the fact that they're in. Perhaps this goes to Dan Hardy, and I'm hands up already. I don't know. Caveat: I don't know the situation. I didn't look at it. But if somebody's arguing for, hey, you should have stopped the fight, that shows very good sportsmanship and care and concern for an athlete, which I love. I love that. And if there's anything, I've literally watched highlights of it where people drop another person, they'll stand over them and they'll stop themselves from hitting them. And then the ref, I love that because that's just obviously a care and concern for the competitor. That being said, so for reffing, I don't even feel like I can wax about it simply is that I've never considered what an official has to go through when reffing a match, when having to overlook when somebody's getting hit. Because imagine the pressure, man, especially with the championship fight. I think the one that really got to me was what is the gentleman that has excellent footwork that fought the guy that just left? He is the greatest. Triple C. Who's Triple C?
Dillashaw fought him.
It wasn't Dillashaw. Dominic Cruz, when he had that early stoppage, right? And I put parentheses because I feel it was an early stoppage, but some people might not. But I felt like Dominic Cruz was literally saying, and it cut into me because I really felt for Dominic. He was just being like, this was my one shot at the title, and you took it away from me. He was telling the ref, you took it away from me. Like, I was covered. I was ready to get that single leg. You stopped the fight. You took this title fight away from me. That was hard to hear. So the reason I bring that fight up is like, yes, there is a large part that's like, hey, you got to let them keep going because they've literally put 3 months into their training camp and probably even more, and they've been looking for this title since they started, and you're going to stop it. The other side of it is like, what is the job of the referee? It's to not only officiate the match as fairly and as evenly as he can, as balanced as he can, but he or she has to be able to get in there and say, all right, that's it. I've seen enough. You're not defending yourself. So for Herb Dean, like my thoughts on it would be like, I'd have to look at it. But if Herb Dean didn't stop it when the fight should have been stopped, that's still to me more like it has a visceral effect on the audience because then we're just like, oh man, like he really got hurt. You really could have fucked that dude's, the amount of trauma somebody can have, not only physically, anatomically with their brain damage, but psychologically, it's hard to come back from getting that sort of damage to you up here. That I can see how that affects people more about being like, oh, you really. But it seems like everybody's on Herb Dean's side because maybe Herb thought that at the time that he still could have kept going. Although from what you were describing, I don't know why he would have. Somebody's fucking zombied on the floor. A little hard to be like, give him just a couple more. Give him a couple more. That 2-piece, what is it, 3-piece and a soda? Calls it. Oh my gosh, dude. No, like, and I apologize. Perhaps that's a cop-out answer. I just didn't see it, so I'm going to wax on it. But if
I meant in general because I didn't want you to comment on something that you hadn't seen because I don't think that's fair.
I appreciate that. I got something to say though. I did when you said about judging and MMA judging in general. Not to verbal tennis with you, but to kind of throw it back at you. I was talking about this when I was playing, and this is a great game. It's a little plug for UFC. When I was playing originally the UFC video games, I think when they're judging your score and how they score the fighters, if you defend a takedown, if you sprawl a takedown, if you have good takedown defense and block that person's attempt, they give you points in the game, right? Okay. I thought that was real life. I thought that like if you sprawl and like defend takedown and stuff like that, the judge is like, oh, takedown defense blocked. You know what I mean? Apparently, when I was telling this to somebody, like, no, they don't do that at all. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, I suppose. So that just shows how much I know about like officiating in MMA matches.
Because as John McCarthy says, the reward is you didn't get taken down.
Yeah.
Right,
I agree with it. Sounds logical, right?
It's like blocking a punch. It's like blocking a punch, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're not going to blocking a punch or a head kick.
How about this though? In Japan, good.
Go on.
I was going to say in Japan. I know this is kind of unfair. I've seen a couple fights in a couple organizations. I fought in Pancrase, but I saw a couple fights in a couple organizations where, and I think they scored pride like this, where the more it doesn't matter, the more aggressive fighter definitely gets more points than you would imagine. So yeah. I saw a fight recently from a guy I really enjoy seeing. That basically was defending correctly, had top position. The striking was even, but when the dude was trying to take him down, he was on top of him. He got his back a couple times, shelled him up, did a Ben Askren ride, which I really enjoyed. And he lost the fight. And he lost the fight because the judges were like, well, yeah, but this guy, even though you had top position, you were hit, this guy was the one coming at you. And I think that Japanese referees and judges is more about, well, who's the guy that really wants to fight? Who's the guy that really on. And I never agreed with that. That's probably because I'm a boring fighter. I'm going to get across that, and I don't want you to hit me because that shit sucks. So I'm going to lay on top of you, and I'm going to talk to you. And I'm not going to talk shit to you. I'm literally going to be like, hey, man, can you just chill for a second? I'm trying to get my breath. It's really tiring in here. I don't know if you know that. So maybe I'm not the best to talk about it, but I will say that judging in MMA, man, is there anything worse than not agreeing with the decision and being like, you robbed this guy of a victory, a W?
Yeah, I think that I think Joe Rogan's causing a lot of problems with that because there'll be a split decision or a close fight, and he's like, oh, it's a robbery because it's not the person he wanted to win. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not a robbery. It could have gone either way. You know what I mean? And you wanted the other guy to win, or you were just watching the other guy more than anything, because that's what you do, don't you? You watch someone more, so you see what they do. And then you say it's a robbery. Then everyone's going, the judges are rubbish. I don't see fights that go wrong, personally. There's not that many fights where you go, oh, that was way off. It's like normally, like the Max Holloway fight the other week against Volkanovski. I thought Max won. But you give it to Volkanovski? Yeah, I wasn't, it's like, it could have gone either of them, you know what I mean? It depends what you're looking for. Yeah. I think
what do you think the biggest... Go ahead, sorry.
I think 5 judges would be better. There's a lot of people that say, oh, no, because they're invested in the same system. But I think 5 judges would be better. I like who won the fight. And it depends. And I think a lot of it depends with a lot of things like this is, do we want it to be a fight or do you want it to be a sport? Because it can't be both. And I think there needs to be the question, because I asked I asked John McCarthy about, what happens if someone has like 2 groin shots, a fence grab, an eye poke? Doesn't that warrant a point deduction? He's like, well, no, because not one of them really affected the fight. But if you think one bad groin shot affects the fight 20%, let's say, but you've got those other 4 and they affect it 5% each, isn't that the same? Because if it's a sport, then that's how it should be. If it's a fight, then it's a bit different, isn't it? You know what I mean? So it's like, what is it? What is it?
I'll tell you this, man. Right. Here's something that just coming from a guy, and like I said, I'm not like the MMA fighter to talk about this because I've just had so few matches. But the first pro fight I did have out of the 2 was when I fought this cat who was 5-0, I believe, at the time, and he was he knocked people out the first round. His name's Chantamo. He still fights. He's unbelievable fighter. I was just trying to take him down the entire time because I wanted none of that power. I'd been hit by it. I was like, it sucks. I don't want to stand with you anymore, bro. And I was telling him when I was clinching him, I was going, see you later. I was like, telling him, like, dude, you're really strong. I just started laughing. But anyway, I remember I went to take him down, and I got below him, and I picked him up, and he grabbed the fence, and he held himself up, and I didn't get the takedown. I cannot tell you the amount of like willpower that drained from me when I was like, I finally have this takedown. I got my finger locked, I pick up, and then I couldn't get it. The amount of like anger, as well as just like, oh, dude, come on, because then I believe he pushed me off, and I had to stand with him again, and I was just like, like that. We could have been on the ground. I could have been on top of you the entire round. Like I could have won the round. I could have tapped you out, but because you chose to grab the fence, then would you get a warning? You know what I mean? Like I literally just had a chance to stop the fight potentially. And I think that goes a lot with like, you know, what was the one with Ben Rothwell where he did a groin kick to Steve?
Yeah.
Stephen Struve. Yeah. And Struve continued. God bless him. And like I was just like, dude, I mean, you got to look at that and be like, was the fight over with that? Was the fight over? Because I've seen you talking about Dan Hardy. I believe the dude's name was Yoshiyuki Yoshida. Zenko was his nickname. He only fought in the UFC, I think 3 times, and he lost twice. So most important, he lost to Josh Koscheck and just got fucking lit up, knocked out. Anyway, he fought Dan Hardy in King of the Cage, I believe, and he was winning against Dan Hardy, and then Dan Hardy kicked him in the groin. Total accident, not malicious. Zenko couldn't continue. They DQ'd Dan Hardy, and Zenko got the win. Because I'm looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, Zenko beat Dan Hardy, and I watched the fight. And he kicked him in the groin. Zenko's like, I'm done. Like he was laying on the ground, and they had to bring in a stretcher and shit like that. So I'm like, can a groin shot that bad? Stop, stop. But you're talking about, cage grabbing, eye poking, groin hits, and I'm sitting here just being like, yeah, I mean, they all really could change the outcome of a fight, couldn't they?
Yeah, but it depends if you change it a little bit each time, then it's a lot over the course of a fight, isn't it? Which was his argument. It's like, no, because it has to be a substantial change. But like 5 small changes becomes a big change, doesn't it? I don't know.
Well, see, when I first saw you, I got a little worried because when you went like this, if it's a little, I was like, don't tell me my testicles are small, Russ. Don't be like, well, if you got little nuts, then it's not that big of a deal, Andrew.
That
is my 100% accurate impersonation of your English accent. Well, Andrew, that's my 100% accurate. It's exactly what you sound like. It's exactly what you sound like. So no, dude, I agree with you, and I would say going back to social media and Instagram, right? I would say that I can't do it, bro. I can do this all day, and I love writing, man. I've written. I write for a living. Technically, I get paid to write. So like, I really enjoy writing, and I think that I've had enough discourse and debate with people that I know how to be logical and not go to ad hominem. And if somebody insults me or something, I can be like, oh, okay, well, you can't refute what I'm saying, so clearly you go to that. Maybe it's the time to walk away. I can't do it, brother, because I'll tell you this right now. For me, I'm too fucking sensitive. I am. I don't want to make people angry. I don't want people yelling at me. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. Like, why can't we talk about The Witcher or something? Why do we have to do this? You know what I mean, dude? So, like, I think, you're talking about Joe Rogan. I believe he has a wonderful bit about how he's talking about he's looking at YouTube and the comments are just going off on Jennifer Lopez looking so scandalous and blah, blah, and he's reading, he's like, and these people are fucking stupid. And you know who's more stupid than them? Me, because I'm fucking reading it. And he's getting emotional. So I'm the same way, dude. I'm like, I'll look at a video or anything, but the moment I see people start, fucking throwing vitriol at each other, I'm just like, done. I don't need that right now, man. That's fine. I'm good.
Yeah, somebody said it. It was something I reflected on a lot while I'm away because I did it, and I try not to do it now. It's so easy to think that just because you don't agree with me, you're stupid. I mean, it's just the standard thing nowadays, isn't it? You don't agree, so you're stupid. You've got to be stupid. You know what I mean?
I have something to talk about with that, Russ. I have a great example. I think you'll really enjoy this because I believe you enjoy this gentleman maybe as much as I do, perhaps even more. But I'm a very big fan of Sam Harris. And insofar as that I enjoy the way he speaks, he reminds me of Christopher Hitchens and how he approaches things very logically. He has data to back himself up. And I have disagreed with Sam Harris on many, many, many things, both metaphysical and ethical. I've disagreed with him, but I've always enjoyed him. Christopher Hitchens, always enjoyed him. And I've watched videos just being like, oh my gosh, how they're so well spoken and what they're saying and how they present their arguments. and I had a person I very, very much respect. I mean, to this day, a literary expert, somebody that has given me incredible books to read, and I've had excellent, let's get drunk over some red wine and talk about politics conversations with. You know, he texted me. He goes, Sam Harris is a fucking idiot. That's what he texted me. And it was because Sam Harris had said something that he viewed it was wrong. Okay?
Yep.
And I'm sitting here being like, I could see why you believe he's wrong on that topic. But from both of our history dealing with this individual, I highly doubt Sam Harris is a fucking idiot. So my point being is exactly what you're saying, is that it's so interesting to me that I can have people in my life that I very much disagree with their style of living or their mindset, metaphysical or ethical, and yet at the same time, the moral compass they possess, the amount of entertainment they give me and support that they willingly give me makes us such close friends. You and I don't agree on everything, but I can tell you I have nothing but love for you, brother. So I have people in my life, and yet one of my, guy that I very much look up to is a very, very wise individual. Sam Harris is a fucking idiot. And I'm just like, I don't think he's an idiot, though. I was like, you can disagree, but I just don't think he's an idiot. I haven't met many, like, idiots. You know what I mean? I'm just like, wow, man, like, you might have something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? So, just to jump on that, bro. So, go ahead. Go on that. It
was that. It was also... and you're quite open to suggestion, open to other things. So that's why it's easy talking to you, because it's not about judging. But like, I remember someone sent me something about flat Earth stuff, and it was like, I didn't want to look at it. But now I'm like, there is science that could mean that that's possible, and I'm not going to discount it. And where I'm at a place now is that I won't discount anything. If you know what I mean. I believe this, but I'm not going to discount it. Because I've had people, fucking flat earth, they're so stupid. It's like, but that's all based on on science, which is totally flawed anyway. So it's like, where I'm at a point in my life now is I'm not going to discount anything. So that means more esoterical stuff, more spiritual stuff, and those things I'm open to now, which I think is a lot more freeing, because I'm not stuck to anything, if you know what I mean. I haven't really, I've got things that I believe in, but if something comes along and that I can change my mind, or, I'll explore different things. I don't know if you quite get what I mean by that. It's like... I do. Willing. And I think that if people were more like that and we taught more of that at school, there'd be less conflict.
I would like to offer this, and this just came off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Imagine that you meet Frank. Frank's a guy I just made up. Let's just, Frank is a guy walking down the street, and you meet him, and you talk to him. Turns out he's flat earther. And Frank lives his life. This earth is flat. I am telling you, Russ. He's very, very vehemently opposed, and and you're sitting there like, look, Frank, I gotta go talk to Andrew on my podcast, because he's just an absolute fucking legend with the best haircut I've ever seen, great beard on him, and you, of course, tell all the virtues of Andrew, and then and you're just in your head, you're like, this guy is a fucking bell end, and I understand that an American saying English like bell end sounds horrible. I get it, I know, I just like it.
No, I love it.
I live with two Englishmen. I'm allowed to say some shit. Anyway, and as you turn around, you see Frank run across the street and push a girl out of the way, and he gets hit by a car. And you're like, oh, man, what a wonderful sacrifice. What a virtue, valor, courage sacrifice. And your opinion changes of it. I always try to think that of people that I disagree with, of no matter what this person might believe that I view as just naive, that person is still a human. And that human is capable of amazingly wonderful, beautiful acts of sacrifice and love and affection. And I'm sure Trump supporters and Hillary supporters when that was happening, and Biden supporters now, like going political for a second, whether I understand people would be opposed to the other party because they believe they're hurting their country, and I understand that. But at the same time, I would just like people to understand that, humans can do wonderful things, and I wish that we would have the mindset and perspective to view each other with far more decency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, even if I can disagree with many people on many things, but I can still view you as a person that believes in, virtue and has goodness in you. I think that's something that I don't know why, but and perhaps this is too kumbaya maybe, but I just am very personally. It's hard for me to see my country be so angry towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think that it's like something Rogan said in this one, and it made me think. We judge people on. He never used these words, but we judge people on an instant, and we don't know the history before that happened. So let's say I go to the checkout at the supermarket, and the woman at the checkout's not very nice to me, not polite. I walk away thinking, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? She might have been beat up by her husband last night. You know what I mean? She might be having problems with her kids. She might be at the end of a 10-hour shift and had a load of horrible people coming through and a boss shouting at her. You know what I mean? So all of these things, I imagine, like, a friend of mine was talking about it last night, and he's like saying, his boss was moaning about someone because someone in his family had put him in contact with them, and then they hadn't turned up, and it's like, they took a day off, and it's like, you don't know what's going on for that person to complain about that when you haven't got a clue. It's a bit wrong, isn't it? But we always expect other people to judge us on everything, not on the instant, the moment, don't we? So
dude, I mean, like, far better said, and a great example. Exactly that. And I think maybe the one idea that we're going for right here is just, dude, could you please be nicer to each other? Could you please be kinder to each other? I would like that. It'd be nice for me, and for the love of God, would you buy me a drink once in a while? It's expensive down here.
Because you speak to most people, and I don't know anybody who wants war. I don't know anybody really who wants other people to be living in poverty. Those people are a minute population, aren't they? You know what I mean? They're just, but we seem to keep going through that cycle. Let's change it up a bit. Philosophy student, I was looking at consciousness. You ready for this? What's your views on consciousness?
Actually, I was about to ask a question for you, but you go ahead. Run the show. Okay?
Go on. Hold on, you just broke up a bit there. And you froze.
Take your time, brother. Tell me if I'm good.
Are you good now? What's your views on consciousness?
Man, consciousness. We did. We studied that in philosophy. We did. But there's a very how would I put this? It's, for me, perhaps my viewpoint, and this is perhaps asking too much of you in your relationship with me, but do you understand how much I love Stoicism, yes?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've read a bit.
I love the pursuit of metaphysical quandary. Like, like what are we thinking of? Are we actually existing? Is this a simulation? Consciousness. And I think that's unbelievable, because that opens up so much room to think and to problem solve and analyze. And what's great about consciousness is it's looking on the inside, right?
Yep.
And that's why I said I feel like I'm giving you the bias of you knowing me, that I'm not trying to do a cop-out answer, but I legitimately kind of run my life with is I only have finite time in this life.
Yep.
To formulate my thoughts around certain things. For me, it's empirically, what do I see in front of me that I can benefit from, as in to help? What can I help? What can I use to steel my mind to be a stronger, better person? How can I be a healthier, happier individual, right? So when I think about consciousness, I meditate every day. Dude, by the way, recently, you know, I used to meditate with all over the place with different people, but I've been doing Deepak Chopra, which it never occurred to me to try. I don't know if his voice or his accent is what gets me, but like immediately just under. But anyway, what I'm saying, so I definitely examine who am I as a consciousness, and is this just a shell? Is this a spirit form? But for me, bro, the answer I can give you is this. I don't believe I'll ever be able to grasp that knowledge. That's why I say this isn't a cop-out. So what I do is I just try to optimize the time that I have to try to make myself better. So my belief on consciousness is this. I exist as a soul or as an eternal being within this body currently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? With this body currently, I'm going to try to accomplish as much as I can to make the world a better place with the means that have given to me. That is a heavy burden of ambition, and it is a potential that I consistently see myself failing in, which is sad. But at the same time, the reason why I say that is because that knowledge of my potential to do wonderful things, to have perhaps the courage to start my own podcast like you have, that has motivated me to do great things. So I have faith that the soul, if you will, that is in my being is trying to propel me towards greater acts of goodness and love. Now, I am a theist. I do believe that there is a God. Okay?
Yep.
I have no problem if somebody's an atheist, agnostic, deist, does not matter to me. I think as long as we share the same belief, which is trying to help individuals. I think. Oh, what's that noise? Somebody in here?
The window cleaner's here. I knew it.
Oh, bro, this is unprofessional. Ross, this is unprofessional. This is what you do? Why can't you have the same respect as your other guests, you dog?
I'm a 50-year-old man staying at my mum's house because I can't get to my house in Thailand.
Oh, man. Dude, isn't this the life, though, brother? Isn't this the life? You're living at your mom's. I'm living at my friend's house. I'm in his bed right now. I'm sure has had tons of semen all over it. And we're on a... God bless you. Oh, it's the greatest. This is the best time. Life in marvelous times. But anyway, brother, so to finish consciousness, I would say this, that, like I said before, like I do believe I have a spirit in this body. And I do believe that currently, whether this be Maya, you know, whether this all be illusion, simulation, not, I'll never be able to grasp it. So I feel that the purpose that all human beings should have is to help others, to be a light in the world, right? So, boom, that's it. I stick to that code. I stick to that purpose, and that's what I'm going to go for. Everything else to me, and like I said, I'm sure I'm just going to like make my, you know, professors metaphorically turn in their grave, is kind of arbitrary. For me, it's like, okay, whatever. Maybe I'm a soul, maybe I'm not. Maybe this is literally just it. This is it. I'm just a body, an organic being, and that's the end of it. It still doesn't matter. What matters to me is doing good. And if I can do good, I'm okay with it.
Yep.
You feel me on that?
Yeah. I'm with you on it. I'm where I'm open-minded more now is before I used to think I'm just an organic body, and the spiritual journey I've been on, over the last 2 years, really, it's accelerated more so. And you know, I'd like to believe that we're what you said before, this soul or energy that we have, and then we just use this body for a bit and then discard it and get another one. You know, which is a bit Buddhist, isn't it? You know, reincarnation. So, but I'd like to believe that. There's a lot of things I've read from historical facts that would sort of back that up in a way, you know what I mean? Whatever. My motto isn't as good as yours about doing good. It's about enjoying myself as much as I can and don't hurt anybody else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's how I try and live my life now, you know? So that's why I went away doing a year in South America and do what I can, you know what I mean? Just, okay, I'll enjoy that. I'll do something different.
Can I throw you one question? Just one?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, man. And I love this because I'm going to say it to you and I guarantee you're going to be like, I don't know, man. Like, you know, adjust your bike seat. What was the one, if you could give like, hey, Russ, you did this amazing thing and I'm sitting at your feet looking up to you like, Dad, Dad, I don't want to call you Dad, but tell us about you. What is one thing? And
I'm not that old.
give me, bro. You're not older. You're 67. You're fine. But I'm like, give me wisdom. Give me wisdom. Like, what would be one thing where you can literally be like, all right, in the travels that I had in my gigantic epic, besides killing a cyclops, or excuse me, blinding a cyclops with a stake.
Yep.
What is a lesson that you have changed? Maybe not changed because maybe you didn't change. Maybe you like literally like, yeah, it's what I figured it would be. It was great. But could you bring me something like perhaps some wisdom that you've learned from this trip that you're like, you know what, man? When I was in Colombia, I met a one-eyed traveler who claimed he was Odin, and he told me always wear one sock. Don't look at me like that. That's a great lesson. Stop your laughing. It's preposterous. Come on, give me something.
I don't think I learned. There was several things that I learned really, and a few that we spoke about. One is on the journey, just be open to anything, and don't get stuck in any paradigm. Then the other one is the main one is just get out and live your life. As I said, I'm 50, and let's say you're young watching this. It's not long before you look in your mirror and you go, "Who's that old person looking at me?" You know what I mean? Your life goes quick, So it's about just get out, enjoy it, meet people, and interact with people. And don't be worried that, like I didn't plan really my trip. It's just okay, we'll work it all out as we get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a rough idea, but and life's like that. You can't plan life, can you?
Mm-hmm.
And don't let it's a thing that a lot of fighters say. Yeah, it's not a loss; it's an L. It's a learn. You know what I mean? And I've fucked up royally in my life on several occasions, but would I change it? No, because it's just made me who I am. And at the end of the day, does it matter? Does anything matter? As long as you haven't been a horrible person, does anything matter? So it's just go
so
for
what
it.
So what I got from that,
I want to speak to people like you and other fighters and people who just do things that they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should enjoy life, instead of just being miserable. I've been, because I'm back in the UK, been on Tinder a little bit, and like I'm speaking to people, and it's like, yeah, what do you like to do? I go to work and I watch TV. Yeah, that conversation's over, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that the sum total of your conversation? Yeah. I can't even be bothered speaking to you because, it's just, what's that? You may as well just end it now, mate. You know what I mean? You're going to sit in front of the telly for the rest of your life and go to work. Yeah. What's the point? I
don't know, but actually, I'll say two things. So, one, to kind of summarize what you were saying originally when I asked you for the wisdom, you're like, just keep an open mind and really just be open to anything. What I got from that, and I was like, I just shut off everything else you were saying. I'm like, Russ is saying, if a girl wants to put a finger up me, just fuck it, let her. Just have an open mind. Let it happen. That's what I got from that lesson.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going for?
Open-minded, open asshole, no problem whatsoever.
It is, right? And the second, no, but dude, I gotta tell you this because I really, it's about happiness, and been getting a lot in that. If you have a chance, I'll send you a video. It's about Epicurus and his philosophy on happiness. And okay. I'm kind of living with a fraternal brotherhood, if you will, right now. Like I've gone from living by myself with my girlfriend, and now I'm living with two guys that were like, in our 30s, and we're wrestling around and drinking and playing fucking video games. And dude, I'm in paradise. I'm fucking greatest time, right? Because the charity of good people that I just got lucky enough to meet, which seems to be the fucking the status quo of my life, is I just get lucky enough to meet good people, you included. But that being said, was my father. I love bringing him. I stayed up. I was plagued with not insomnia, but I would stay up so late at night into the early hours of morning when I was 12, 13, 14, 15. because I would think about shit like, is there a God? What is the meaning of life? What are we doing here? Who am I as all the things that I'm not special. I feel that every person thinks these things, but they would really vex me, and I would write, and I'd ponder on these issues. And as I've gotten older, I'm happy to say not much has changed. I still ponder and I still am curious, and it's fantastic and I love it. It's absolutely, I love Socrates has often espoused how wonderful it is to just be like, what did he say? I'm the wisest man in the world because I know nothing, and because I can admit to knowing nothing, I am therefore the wisest man in the world. I'm certainly not like that. What I am claiming though is I celebrate the amount of like, wow, I just don't know. And it's mysterious and it's wonderful and it's grand. And I'm so lucky and grateful that I can try to think about these things. My father is very much different. He's not big of a deep thinker, and he's my role model. He's everything I want to be. And what I mean by that is he's a man that loves his wife. He loves his 2 children. He loves his job. Every day he wakes up at 5:45 in the morning. Doesn't have to, just thinks it's good for him. Does it, has his coffee, reads his newspaper. Not social media, reads his newspaper. I know, exactly right. Reads his newspaper, goes to work. Before he goes to work, he kisses his wife, who's still asleep, my mom, light sleeper, on the cheek and says, I love you, whispers it to her. Goes to work, does his job damn well, right? Like his Polish ancestors before him with their work ethic. And then he goes to the club, goes to the gym, right? Workout in because that's what he's done since he was 12, I'm pretty sure. He's been an athlete all of his life. So come back home, kisses his wife hello, makes fun of her, teases her. They both have a great laugh. They spend the rest of the evening together eating dinner, watching Seinfeld every day because my dad's obsessed with that show, as he always has been. And then they watch it on Netflix. He says his prayers. He goes to sleep probably around 8:45 with a smile on his face after he's done probably talking and checking in with my brother and I. He's the happiest person I've ever met in my life. And I feel you and I are both like, dude, what do you got? Oh, you go to your job and you watch Netflix. Like, give me something interesting. Tell me a phobia. Do you have a fetish? Do you like feet? Like, give me something that's going to say, you know what I mean? Like, that's how we are, right? But the happiest individual I've ever met is perhaps somebody that has lived a life of purpose and is so satisfied and fulfilled is my father, hero. I've met so many incredible people in my life, so many people that I've been, like I said, blessed to meet. And I could just sit here hours tell you and sing their accolades like a bard about how amazing these people are. And yet the person that is always embedded in my heart as the greatest man I've ever met is my father. And he just lives a very simple life, but he's so happy and he's so wonderful. And that's what I'm talking about, is that like I can definitely, just like you, be like, dude, stop talking about the fucking weather. Like, can we talk about something that means something to me? You know what I mean? Like give it to me. And there's so much of me, like this arrogance that wants to sit up and be like, oh, these fucking plebs, these sheep sitting here talking about politics. No, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, dude. What it is how you live your life. Are you a good person? Does it make you happy? Are you stimulated? Do you grow mentally, physically, emotionally? If you can do those things, I could give a fuck less if you go to work and just watch Netflix. Just tell me you're happy and you're a good person. You know what I mean? I'm the same with you, bro, is that I can't get excited by people that don't talk about something that's weird. I need the bizarre. I do. Maybe it's because I'm a whack job. I have no idea.
That's why you like me, yeah.
I need it. I need it in my life, my man. Fucking recite a poem or something, but do a dance for the love of God. Come on.
No, you don't want to see me dancing.
Oh, God.
When I was in Colombia trying to do salsa, oh, it was so bad. I was like the Tin Man.
Thai kickboxer.
What's that?
I said you did Thai kickboxing. How can you not dance?
Oh, yeah, Thai kickboxing. You don't need footwork, do you? You just stand in front of each other and lift your front leg up, really. It's only Sunshine who does the footwork.
Oh, yeah, you take and give. You take and give. That's true.
Yeah, you just...
Otherwise, I've been so bad at it. I never
exchange leg kicks, don't you, for a bit, and then punch each other in the face.
Oh, God, why can't it just be so much more gentle? So much better about myself if everybody stopped hurting me so easily.
That is about sparring in Thailand, though, isn't it? It is gentle,
Yeah, that is good.
I was trying to talk to some friends about it the other day and just saying, it's like they're having 400 fights. That's because they don't fight in the gym,
Yeah,
You-
that's true.
boxers fight in the gym like 4 or 5 times a week, you know what I mean? And then their careers, like, they only have 20, 30 fights and they're done, aren't they? You know what I mean? But like Thai fighters, they're just touching each other, you know, they don't even need gloves. Have you seen Szczecinski sparring?
Yeah. He just barehanded, touches, goes.
He doesn't even wear shin guards. Not that, I should imagine if you kicked him in the shin, you'd be in bits. Like, you know what I mean? It's like kicking a steel post, wouldn't it? But, so.
Yeah, but man, I feel like it's kind of like why I love grappling so much, is I can turn it up to 100 and just go as super hard and aggressive as I want, and the person's fine. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this before, but I think that's why I feel that wrestling is such a good martial art. It's such a good thing to have when you're a kid, because even though obviously, in my opinion, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or catch wrestling is so much more efficient and effective and practical as like a full-on fighting system, the amount of grind you get from wrestling is, I've never seen it before. And I've been to very competitive gyms, MMA gyms, and I still remember, you know, waking up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning at wrestling practices and wanting to die. You know, just the amount of work it's unbelievable. So, like, I think that the idea of grinding and really reaching a point mentally where you're just like, I can keep going. I have enough in the tank. I wish I would remember that, because I'm most of the time gasping for air and dying and asking for a round off. Oh, my word. What happened to me? Can't be alcohol, can it?
No, I don't think so. No, it doesn't have that effect on people. I you know, and that's the thing with a lot of people getting fit, isn't it? You've got to just keep chipping away, because at some point, I remember talking to a friend the other day, actually, going on about when you're running, and I remember when I was running a lot, there was a point where I got to where I didn't know I was running. I wasn't telling my body to run, because when you're tired, you're telling your legs to move, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I'd get this sort of wave coming over the back of my neck, and over the top of my head, and it was like everything was light. Everything just moved. It was like running in helium. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Instead of now, I'm running in cement. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I want to stop, and you're having that fight in your head. Whereas there, you're not even thinking. You just go in, and you know it takes a bit of time, but you do get there. You know,
not to be Goggins about this at all, but I run as well. And people ask me like, "Oh, so you run? How long do you run?" I'll be like, "Oh, 3 miles. If I do a distance run, it'll be 6 miles." But I just try to get my time lower for 3 miles. And people are like, "Oh, is that good? You know, why do you run?" I'm like, "Because I fucking hate it. That's why I run. It has nothing, dude. If I wanted to burn calories, I'd hit mitts. It's so much easier. But like, it's a mental thing for me to be like, all right, time to go do something I don't want to do. But when I get done, the mental accomplishment I have of the willpower is just a huge momentum push. And I also run at the end of the day where I don't have to fucking see people and I can just listen to a podcast, like One Mind plug, insert plug. I listen to One.
One Mind.
The man, the one mind, the one idea, the one question.
Okay.
That's what it is. That's Big Russ. But anyway, dude, like, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, there's something about running though that I find it meditative. You know what I mean? When you get to that point where you get that fitness, you know, different. I do a lot of explosive exercises normally, but and the running is a different thing. It helps me mentally.
Oh, here's one for you, bro. I got something for you, man. I got something. This is a good question, actually, because I know, dude, I've seen you, man, and I've seen every part of you. Put that out there. You know what I'm saying, bro? I've seen you with that shirt off. I've seen you with the pants down. I know. All right. I know what's there. I know the 8 inches of glory. You don't smile at me. Listen, what is the best shape you've ever been in your life, and why was it? Why did that happen?
I should imagine it's going to be the same as you. Just before that fight.
Yeah.
Just before the fights. You know,
you were a fucking tank. You were
because
a tank.
you're thinking, I don't want them to. I don't want to come out of there with a loss and feel like I didn't do something.
Yeah, it's Christian, isn't it?
I don't know. So, I don't know. I don't know where I heard that. I heard that on someone. It wasn't Christian.
No,
definitely.
that was Christian, bro. That was, for me, it was definitely Christian Daggy. I went on a podcast called Grapplers Union. I told that story.
Yep.
Most influential stories that ever happened in my training. I wanted to not call you out. I'll give you a little shout out because I've told this story about you as well. As you were the one that told me about Tyson's mindset, and I did that as well. When you were just like, Mike Tyson would wake up at 3 a.m. and be so scared of the person he was going to fight. He'd had nightmares, and then he would run because he's like, this motherfucker's not doing what I'm doing. He's not running at 3 a.m. It gave him sort of a mental edge. I thought that was awesome.
I do that when I'm running, and I did, especially then I did it. And when I'm running, I don't know about you, do you tell yourself lies?
Or tell myself lies all the time.
Yeah, I know. But I'll be like, it's like, I'm at a quarter way now, so that's it. I'm at halfway now because I've got to carry on running. You know what I mean? Because otherwise I've got to walk all the way back, and that's a long way. So that'll take me ages. So I've got to keep running, and I'm just telling myself so many things just to keep myself going. You know what I mean? Just to motivate myself. And like running's so mental because if you can run for 2.
Dude. See, man, that's why I feel you're so successful as a person, is you have that mindset. My thing is like, yo, man, if you can run an hour, you're good. You tell everybody you ran an hour. That's my mindset. So no, but no, I agree with you. Like it's I feel the pursuit of trying to hit a certain goal is wonderful, and that's great, and I definitely have taught people that, but even more than that is to hit a lifestyle of being like, yeah, I'm just a runner now. Russ runs. Andrew Szczecinski does jiu-jitsu 5 days a week. Like, these are things that we make an identity of. And I think that like certainly in my business and what I try to teach my clients and whatnot is basically creating an avatar of what you want to be. Not to be or anything like that, but to find the hero in yourself and be like, all right, this is what Andrew Szczecinski is. This is what Russ is. You know what I mean? And sit there and be like, this is what he does. This is what he looks like. This is how he acts. And I'm going to embody this. I think that's a great ideal. I do. And I also feel like whenever I tell people that, they always be like, oh yeah, be the hero in your story. I'm like, I didn't get it from Joe Rogan. I didn't get it from that speech. I knew about this one.
I thought it was from the song Search for the Hero Inside Yourself.
Yeah, right. I need a hero. Little Shrek 2? Come on now.
No, not that one. I need a hero.
Know it's not that one. I said, wait.
Search for the Hero Inside Yourself. I'm not going to try and sing it.
Russ, sing it.
What? No, because it's not going to sound anything like it. It's just going to sound like some fat bald fella shouting.
Gosh damn it! I wish you had the courage to just be in front of me and be like, "Let me tell you a little thing here." What if a little girl needs a lullaby? You're not going to sing her a lullaby, Russ?
No, because I like young girls, but not ones that are 8. Fucking hell, you think I'm Savile? If I have to sing a girl a lullaby, something's gone terribly wrong. And I'm going to be arrested, or either that or I'm a politician.
No, sir, wrap your podcast up. I'm at 6:45. I got to see a client at 8.
All right, nice one, mate. Yeah, there's so many things I want to speak to you about. We'll have to do this again, man.
Oh, dude, even if it's not a podcast, so like literally in 2 days, we'd be like, hey, you want to chat? I'll be like, I've been waiting for you to talk to me. Let's do it. I sit here with my shirt off, waiting for us to. Dude, I gotta tell you this though. On the podcast, I'm telling you, man, like, from me knowing you until now, like, I'm just so proud of you, man. The accomplishment you've had just with this podcast. This podcast is nothing compared to what you've done for me and what you've done in your life, man. I'm very proud of you, and this is fucking fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. It was an utterly unbelievable experience. Thanks a lot, bro.
The feeling's mutual, mate. We're going to call it there. Peace out. Thanks very much, Andrew. I can't wait to see you again, mate.
Yeah,
Peace
bro.
out. Bye-bye.
Take care, brother. Much love. Bye-bye.